hope you like the scenery today. Today I just decided to cut some air. You know, this channel is about mental health and going out, up and about, being in the park, catching a breeze. Wow, getting some vitamin D is very, very essential. And especially because of the conversation we're about to have today. Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. It's your girl Jennifer, and this is Against All Odds. Today, I am at the park, and I am back with another interesting conversation. I want us to talk about entitlement. Have you had those people who always think like you owe them? It's you who always owes them. You are the government, you owe me. You're my parents, you owe me. I am a teenager, you owe me. You're the leader, you owe me. You are the employer, and indeed, you owe me. Yes, that's entitlement. Entitlement, entitlement, entitlement. Entitlement is a big thing in our society today because everybody feels they have a right to anything and they have a right to everything. Unfortunately, that's not how life is. You don't have a right to everything. There are some things that you just have to make do without, or others you have to be patient enough to get them, because entitlement is one of the narcissistic traits. It comes from people with the narcissistic tendencies, and it's a very bad character or trait to have because it really, really affects relationships. Some people you see depressed today. Some people you see struggling with their well-being today. Sometimes, probably when they feel entitled to things and things don't go their way, that could be the reason that has led them to be where they are. So, talking about such things, I like to put it into context and to give very practical situations. So, I run a mental health business. And at one point, the government gave an opportunity for small businesses like mine to be helped. So what the government did, they put up this initiative whereby they would help you get employees, and they would fund the employees to be in your company so that it grows your business and grows the economy. Brilliant initiative. Brilliant, brilliant initiative. So, me, who is not one to let opportunities just slide off my hands like that, I decided, because my business was getting busier and I needed help, so why not? So I applied and got into the scheme. So, let me tell you something. The scheme was wonderful, but some things about the scheme were not great. So I will tell you this. In some countries, especially in the West, people who are struggling with financial situations, some people could be having a disability here and there, or they could be struggling with illness, maybe for some time, or a long-term illness. In the West, the government has put in place measures to help them with their financial situation. So it could give financial opportunities or things that could cost you money. The government will avail them for you, like maybe housing, sometimes food, healthcare, very many things. So in some countries they call it welfare, in some countries they call it benefits. Yeah, so, or government help, whatever you want to call it. So this scheme was a very good scheme, and the people who were being put onto the scheme, who you were to employ, had to be people who are on government welfare in one way or another. And the reason to this is because the government wanted to promote them and support them to get back into paid work, you see. And remember, when people are on benefits or people are on welfare, it is a burden to the government. And then it is also a government to the taxpayer, because where does that money come from? The money comes from people who are paying taxes. So sometimes people are forced to pay higher taxes. Some people are forced to do more work so that people can be helped. So we had to recruit people, and they were between a certain age. They were you had to recruit, I think, from between 18 to about 25. So clearly, they were young adults. Now, myself, I have not enjoyed benefits, I've not enjoyed welfare, I've not enjoyed any form of government help, because the nature of my status does not allow me to get that. And it is okay. Which hard working citizen of any country would want to just sit back and rely on the government? Everybody wants to do something for the society. So I never understood clearly how this scheme works, because I cannot benefit from the scheme, but I can benefit from the government initiatives like that. So I went and recruited my staff. When I recruited my staff, before, initially in the company, I didn't have staff, so I was the only person in the company running the business. Yeah, it was one-man show, and it was working, because when you're a small business, you do not want to expand quickly, because it is detrimental to your business. So yeah, I got my staff. Whoa, this was one stiff. But other than being stiff, it was one painful learning curve. Listen to me. I recruited these people who, when they came to the interviews, man, they were awesome. They were amazing. These people know how to talk the part. Dress the part? No. No. It's not like in Africa where we dress in suits and everything to go for an interview. Here, no, casual. But anyway, yeah, so somebody will tell you how they have this degree, they have all this. Whoa, yes, they pitched themselves good. And yes, I got my stuff. So I remember this particular one who told me they can sell the sand to an Arab. Oh, that one, I can never forget that statement. They can sell sand to an Arab. And I was like, perfect. Because I was looking for a marketer, I need this person on my team. Whoa. Oh. So they started work, orientation, wow. My work, they were not going to work from the office. They're going to be working from home. Big mistake for me. For anybody else, I don't know. But for me, big mistake. So clearly what we were supposed to do, I met them in person to recruit them. Then they were going to be working from home, and the agreement was when I need them to come to the office, then they would be coming. So then the idea was I give them tasks and stuff like that to do, which worked fine for the first few weeks, because anybody who is getting a job, oh my goodness, they are so enthusiastic, they are so happy, they are so promises, excitement, you plan things and stuff like that. Now, if you know me personally, I'm very trusting. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I don't know. But I can't change it. For me, I like to trust everybody, regardless whether you're lying. But if you are not trustworthy, your sins will find you out. And then later, definitely, when you break the trust, you've broken it. Sorry, no going back, So I trusted them. When I gave them duties and responsibilities, I knew they'd execute them. Everybody had a job description. So clearly you knew what your job description is and what you're going to do. So we start. Then, because I was recruiting marketers, especially for social media and for the company in general. You know, a marketing job is a job where you need to be out there, engage with the people. And these were young people. So clearly, where I needed them to be out there networking is mainly online, because this is where the world has gone to since COVID time, you know. And for young people, they're always on their phones, they're always on gadgets. So clearly, this was not supposed to be a hard task or a big deal. Some young people, like 18 years old, have like one of them had like 5,000 followers on Instagram, and you're thinking like, hey, me, who's the company owner, I don't even have that number of people. How do you know all these people? Yes. They had such following. So I thought like, bang on, they will use this influence to just get the job done and get us where we need to be. Sold the vision of the company, sold everything right to them. So then I had this condition that on your working day, between the hours you're supposed to work, you're not going to be working like a 9-to-5 job. You're going to be working like a minimum, on average, 5 hours a day. So I needed them. I told them the agreement was within the time you're supposed to be working, I need to be able to get you on call at that time. And that is what happens at work, isn't it? Like, there's no way you're supposed to be at work and your boss comes to work and doesn't find you on your desk. How is that? If you're in the washroom and in the bathroom, then they know that's 5-10 minutes. You'll be back on your desk. But how would they come and like 10 minutes later, 30 minutes later, an hour later, you're not on your desk? Are you really at work? You know, so there were clear ways of knowing whether they are working or not. Remember, if you're doing something on social media, if we have an agreement, you need to be posting things, you need to be doing things, definitely that presence will be seen. I will see it on the company pages and the engagements. So, these people, they came, tick boxed the interview things. We spoke, gave them the duties, the roles and the tasks. But when it came to execution, that's where everything started going haywire. So at some point, I'm thinking like, okay, I'm doing this, so I need to confirm with this person if this is, they've done this, or I need to, because we were sharing roles. So within the team, I needed to know if this person has done this, so that I can communicate to this other person like that. So, one time I'm calling, somebody's not picking up, and I'm thinking, where are you? Immediately after work time hours, a message, oh, sorry, I just seen your missed call. I had put my phone on silent and I put my phone away, so I couldn't see it. I didn't see the call. Oh, sorry. Okay. Then I'm like, okay, fine. But we agreed I need to get you on call every time. So this issue of putting your phone on silent, put it on silence, but make sure when I need you, I can get you. Okay, fine. The phone was on silence. Okay, you were supposed to do task A, B, C, and D. So where is that job? Oh, okay. Oh, my computer has this problem. La. Excuses. Anyway, the excuses would sound so genuine and so legit. So, day one, you accept. Day two, something else comes up. Oh, okay. Then, it got to a place where, clearly, if somebody is starting work at 8, and you call them at 8:15, this person does not pick your call till the time they're supposed to work is done. And they don't pick the call, and they don't even bother. I was like, what? So, that is staff A. Staff B does the same. I write, we have this agreement and these tasks. They're supposed to be doing this, and people are not doing this job. So, on one time they do everything you need them to do. Then on another day, nothing, literally nothing. And you're thinking like, what's happening? So, being the employer I am supposed to be, I decide, okay, we need to have a meeting. So, I do an individual meeting. And I tell them and I remind them, remember, this is how work things are supposed to be done. If anything changes or because you can have emergencies while working. I'm not God, So clearly, if you have an emergency, the thing is, let me know. You can wake up sick. It's not wrong to be sick while working, but please have the courtesy to let me know. Oh yeah, we're sorry. It happened. Because one of them would come up with all these kind of emergencies. Oh, I got this emergency and this and this. Oh, I fell sick. Oh, my sibling fell sick. Like very. Hey, this one. Like one day, this one just gave me. This one we were to meet in person. So, before the time to come, they've messaged me, I'm on my way. When they're like 10, 15 minutes to arrive, they send me a message, oh, I have to turn back. One of my siblings is not well. And I'm like, okay. It's understandable, right? In the West, you can only be supported by family. So, yeah, my sibling is not well. I need to take them to hospital. Okay, well done, go. So, I allow them to go. So, and I told them, so let me know how your sibling fares on so that I know if tomorrow you'll be able to work. And they're like, okay, fine. So, when they are there, they tell me, they're being treated, so tomorrow I'll be able to be in for work. I'm like, okay. But let's do it on Zoom, so I can't come physically, so that in case I need to attend to them. Then you're like, okay. So this person, every time they've called you, they are in a certain setting because you've been having meetings. So they're in a certain setting. So you clearly have seen the kind of environment they're in. You've seen kind of their house, because they introduced you and told you, yeah, this is my place. So yeah. So then that day when they're supposed to be working, so they're supposed to be at the sibling's house, isn't it? Because they've told you clearly, I am at my sibling's place taking care of them, And the sibling, where the sibling lives, is not here. It's very far away. So tomorrow they show up for the meeting, because you're going to have an online meeting. And when they show up for the meeting, the reality of it is they're in their house, isn't it? Do you see how when people lie to you, they forget things, right? Because they told you they're going to be at their sibling's place. And now they're in their usual place. And the sibling's place is like hours away. So how is it now? Within minutes, they've been able to make it back to their house. You see, being the employer you don't shame people. You don't name and shame. You just leave them. So you let them go, let it slide. So this continued to be the case. And because they were young people, they always had various reasons and excuses. Others, oh, my child, because some of them had children, and they'll come up with an excuse of, oh, my child is sick, oh, my child is very sick, I've had to rush them to hospital because they're really poorly. And then so even like they're sleeping whole day, the entire time. Then when you call them on phone, you hear the children laughing and playing in the background. A sick child who is poorly, who you've been told has been sleeping the whole day. So I kept on realizing this became excuses. So where does entitlement come in here? This stuff of mine they kept on playing these games with me. So when, as an employer, there are times things get, you stomach a lot of nonsense to the point of you have now to crack on the whip. So I just decided now I need to act as an employer and not be very friendly, because I think I was very friendly to the point of they became so familiar to me. So I decided now I need to be the employer. So I decided, and I told them, now, because I've been talking to you many times, anytime you miss work, I am going to count that day as a day not work. So you're not going to get paid for that day. And they were like, okay, yeah, no problem. So there's this staff who missed work in a whole month. In a whole month, they missed about 17 days of work. So when it came to pay time, guess the amount they were paid for the exact days they had worked. And any day I would call them, I in the Western world, you do not just talk. Anything you say, you have to document it. So anytime we have had a conversation and, oh, you are not at work today, so what happened? So whether it was a text message, whether it was an email, when they explain, it's already in the records. So I would put a note somewhere and say, on this day they were not at work, this was the reason. This day, this was the reason. So everything was well documented. Hey, so I pay them. You know, when you know the date you paid and you go and check money in your account, then you find money is not in full. Whoa, my friend, they forgot I was an employer. Insults, you know, insults upon insults. So, tell me, what level of entitlement is that? And then threaten me and tell me, we are going to report you to the government because this is a government scheme. You're not supposed to take out any money from us. And I was like, hello, did you forget the contract you have with the government and the contract you have with me? Because the reason why you have come to businesses that are operational is because we are doing everything by the book. We recruit you by the book. We follow the laws, the employment laws by the book. And you are supposed to mimic a real work environment. And this is not even, you're not even mimicking. This is a real working environment. People, when they miss work, here you're paid by the hour. It was not a monthly salary. You know, so, yeah, hello, that's it. And unfortunately, I would send that report still to the government because I have to give my accountability by the payroll, you know. Hey, I am telling you, like, I remember like there's this one who created trouble everywhere. Everywhere. Let me tell you, entitlement is such a bad thing because when people feel you owe them, respect goes through the door, honesty through the door. You know, they don't have a care for any law, any policy, nothing. You know, entitlement is a bad thing. And where does entitlement come from? Entitlement comes from either some people, depending on how they were treated by their parents. If parents just were permissive parents who would allow things to just slide just to have peace with their children, that it nurtures an entitlement mentality. Then the people who are governments and authorities and leaders who keep on doing things and trying to make people feel like, oh, you are owed this. It's your right. Yes, it is your right. But everything in this world, we meet somewhere, you know. The government does something, you do something. Leaders do something, you do something. So if they are doing their part and you're not doing your part, why are you still feeling entitled? You know, then the environment you grow up in, because not everybody grows up with their parents. Not everybody grows up within the formal systems, you may understand. So the environment you grow up in could be the environment that is leading you to feel so entitled and is empowering that vice in you. So I had this experience, and whoa, it didn't even happen once with that staff, and even with actually the staff I had. Because these people, why they felt so entitled is because, remember, this person was sitting at home doing nothing and would make excuses, and the government would pay them, because the government doesn't have that time to keep on sitting and going to the nitty-gritties of, so they will just come up with excuses why they can't find work and everything, and the government will find something to support them. And so, because they've been doing nothing, and they have the money to do everything they want, but now, unfortunately, for them to get money, they have to do work, which they are not used to. Who on earth will do that? So that made them to feel so entitled, because now they know you have to pay me. You see, but now for me to pay you, you have to work, because you're working for a business. I'm not the government here. I am an employer, and you came to me through the government for me to employ you. And the government was trying to get these people into work, because the government had tried everywhere to get them into work. So they came up with this scheme, hoping they are going to settle in work. Whoa. Hey, when it got so worse with that stuff, it was a resignation on a Zoom meeting, because I was like, you know what? I'm not going to continue with this behavior. Oh, so if you're going to be taking away my money every time, bye. And I was like, thank you. It is that place where you say, whoa, that's the best decision you've made, because you've made my life so easy. Because number one, for me, I didn't want to fire them outrightly, because I hadn't employed people in the Western world. So I wanted to be able to experience how it really feels to work with people here, young people, just understand the challenges and the dynamics of being like an employer, you see. So I was willing to learn through the loops, because in big companies, you find these people, you will find them. However good a recruiter you are, you will find them. I can bet you on anything, So, yes. And so saying the entitlement mentality is a cycle. And where does this cycle come from? This cycle comes from the place of you feel you're owed something, then things don't go as you wish, then you get disappointed, and then after you get disappointed, you start venting and doing things. The other thing is, in this cycle of entitlement, it is because of this heart of ingratitude. Nothing is ever enough for you. Nothing. When people do something, you feel like, no, they should have done this. They need to do this. People have to be right by you all the time. All the time. You have no place and space to accommodate anybody but yourself. It's a very egoistic place. And then the cycle when people who are entitled, the third part of the cycle is when a solution is availed for you, it settles it briefly for some time, then you get a little bit comfortable, only to bounce back. So that cycle goes on and on and on. And that's why people who are entitled, it's so hard even to negotiate with them until they themselves decide, I've had enough of this. It is so hard to please them. They are so hard to please. You see. So, in life, think about your children. Think about yourself as an employee. Think about yourself as an employer. There are employers who are very entitled. I can promise you, there are employers who are very entitled. There are employees who are very entitled. There are children who are very entitled. There are parents who are very entitled. You have to send me, especially for us of the African and the Caribbean backgrounds, sometimes even Asian backgrounds. Yes, there are some of us who even some European people who are parents who are very entitled, who think like they need to be supported by the children from Monday to Monday, Sunday to Sunday, 365 days in a year, and children should be on their beck and call. this entitlement it is in the society, it can affect anybody. But remember, it has found a root from somewhere. Remember when I said the environment, parenting, or from the leadership, those are the things. What does it do? It ruins relationships. It leads to conflicts, very depressed people, and then people, their lack of progress. Because when you're entitled, you don't go anywhere. You're cutting ties with everybody around you. So people will want to avoid you like a plague, And then, so what can we do about this? If you see people who are entitled, and sometimes maybe they don't know they're entitled, one of the ways is apply the golden rule. And what is the golden rule? The golden rule is do unto others what you want to be done to you. So if you think like, as an employer, as an employee, I do not want not to be paid, then think about the employer who is working so hard to get you the money, how they would feel as well when you're cheating them. So if you do not want to be cheated as an employee, then think the same of the employer. They do not want to be cheated as an employer as well. You see? So if you apply the golden rule of doing unto others what you want, how you'd like to be done unto you, on the positive side, then it's going to help with the entitlement mentality. Then you have to be respectful. People who are very entitled, they are not respectful. They don't respect anything. Nothing. They don't respect people. They don't respect authority. They don't respect laws. Nothing. Nothing. They are not respectful in any shape or form. So you have to be respectful. And the other thing to stop this entitlement is have the heart of gratitude. If you're full of gratitude, honestly, you are going to be you're not going to be a person who feels entitled. If you're grateful for the little things, you're going to come out stronger. And lastly, you need to learn from your mistakes. People who are entitled, because think of that situation of somebody who they've been lying and you find them out and you tell them. We all make mistakes in one way or another. Learn from your mistakes, move on and do the right thing. If you're constantly learning from your mistakes and working hard to improve, entitlement will not even step and stand next to you. You see? So, for those many words, I believe you understand entitlement better. The next time you see a child acting a bit entitled, remind them they are being ungrateful. Remind them they need to be more respectful. Remind them they are being unfair. And they are not living up to the golden rule of doing unto others what they want to be done unto them. So, remember, I always say, to change the world, you need to change your mind. Catch you in the next video. This has been your girl Jennifer, and this has been Against All Odds. Bye. Please remember to subscribe and share. Subscribe, and share.